This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a topic.
Sometimes we stream the episodes now. Actually, okay, this is the first time we stream the episodes. And it's a test, so we're going to see how it goes. But hey, The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge. Donate to us so that I can talk about Fate with Ben. That's it. There's no fancy pitch this week. No. It's just like I want to talk about Fate. I was having Fate feelings today while I was just on Twitter, minding my own business, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh no, I love Fate for like a fool.
There is no ad read. Die.
There's no good ad read. Die. So yeah, Ben, what are we talking about today?
This week we are talking about Castlevania Season 3, which you can watch on Netflix or other places where you can find videos.
The Gorge does not endorse the extremely cool crime of piracy. We swear. But yeah, Castlevania Season 3, aka when Warren Ellis goes the most Warren Ellis he's ever Warren Ellis since Transmetropolitan. A season entirely based off of Warren Ellis's let's say defining feature in that he just really does not like people, y'all.
Castlevania is such a very interesting show to me. Especially in the wake of when I've become really, invested in the idea of taking well-established franchises and giving it to a writer who either isn't familiar with it or it's usually not their kind of thing, but they still have some manner of, reverence for it.
Sure.
Castlevania's really interesting because
that's the way to put it.
If you've ever played a Castlevania game, the show is nothing like that.
Not at all. I guess maybe some of the later Igavanias. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
They don't even in the first two seasons. They don't even go to the Castlevania until being
the
generous,
very end.
Being generous, the last quarter of the show.
And there's no fucking castle in this. I feel cheated. And I guess there is a castle. There's Carmilla's castle.
The Castlevania is there. It's just that it doesn't do anything this season.
It's not important. Don't worry about it.
Because I really feel like what you could do with the Castlevania mini series like this is, I don't know if you've seen that Crunchyroll is doing a whole bunch of indie titles based on comics from the Webtoon app. Yeah,
they're doing Tower of God right now.
Yes, which I'm super excited for because Tower of God is a really good Castlevania adaptation. It's because the premise
Tower of God.
The premise of it is that these characters go into a giant facility, and it's basically its own mini society. And you've played an Igavania,
sure. I played Bloodstained.
Yeah, you know that the titular castle is a small town in of itself.
Right. Yeah, it is its own country in a lot of ways. Yes. So that's what Tower of God is like.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. So I just think it's interesting that they don't even bother trying to do this with the Netflix Castlevania.
Right.
If you're coming into this expecting a fun not even a fun adventure, an adventure period.
No, this has become way more of a character-driven story than I think anybody ever expected a Castlevania to be. An adaptation, if you said adapt Castlevania, I think you would think you would get, like you said, an adventure story. But what you get instead is just this incredibly character driven stuff with just a bunch of people standing. I mean, I guess that's kind of what happens when you hire Warren Ellis to make your Castlevania adaptation. Because if I've read, I don't read a lot of comics, but I have read all of Transmetropolitan 3 times. I really like Transmet. And every year Transmet becomes more and more relevant. Whoops. And so, people standing around talking is his MO. You know, it's what he does, especially, I mean, like, cool things are happening at the same time. Like, there's obviously, like, a plot going on. It's not like Bendis and his dialogue, to call it charitably. It's way more just driven by, like, characters interacting with each other instead of let's go on an adventure. Yeah, you know.
Even some of his other stuff, like oh my god, Next Wave. I almost lost it. Next Wave.
How could you forget your favorite comic book series? What happened?
My favorite miniseries, Next Wave, is a lot like that. Where even if it is a lot more condensed wackiness, there's still a lot of just like talking and commentary going on.
Yeah, it's Warren Ellis is extremely interested in the interactions of human beings, like probably more so than anything than like telling any other kind of story. And like to a degree, I still like that in Castlevania. I really like season 2. I know a lot of people don't like season 2 because it is a lot of people. Like, the main characters sit in a basement for
over
8
half
episodes.
Of the thing.
Yeah. The main characters just kind of hang out in a basement and talk.
You only get 8 episodes.
It's good talking.
Like, you only get 8 episodes and 5 of them are talking.
But, like, it's great talking. It speaks volumes to how much people are just like, no, Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard are, like, best friends because of the degree of talking they did over the course of season 2. Even though I think technically they'd only known each other for like 2 weeks at that point.
Yeah.
Some very small number like that. So like I think the character writing aspect is good. And I like certain aspects of that in season 3 to a degree. It just extremely sucks. Like the whole... Like, when I got out of season 2, I thought, okay, we're gonna get a whole season with the 3 of them together. And it's gonna be great, because they have the most incredible chemistry as a trio. No! You don't get that! Fuck you!
No, it's...
I only want one thing!
All you get is pain.
You only get suffering. At first, I'm having a good time because, like, Trevor and Sypha are, like, they're fun, they're in love, they're goofing off. You know, she, freezes his beer because he says it's better than sex, and she's extremely angry about that. And it's like, this is great. I'm having a good time. And then, like, the last, like, 4 episodes are just like, fuck you. How dare you have fun? And it's just... the ending is so dire.
Okay, so, like, I think the best way to talk about this is, there are basically 4 subplots happening throughout season 3. There are, there is Trevor and Sypha, there's Alucard, there's Hector and Isaac, right?
Yes. That makes sense.
I think the best thing we can do to just like keep this easy is just go about each of those specifically, since they don't overlap at all.
Yeah, there is no... I really thought I was like, surely at some point these are all like gonna come together, right? No. That's for season 4, I guess.
I guess.
Who knows? Let's see. Let's start with like the most kind of, I guess, I don't want to say bare bones because I think I liked it the most to a degree, but it's mostly because I just really like Isaac, man. Isaac is just so good.
Isaac is the main character of season 3.
Yeah,
Out of everything that happens in season 3, Isaac is the one who gets the most shit done.
He gets the most shit done, and like he wants something, and he tangible,
and he works towards it.
Yes.
And he travels to new locations and has incredible conversations with characters.
Oh god, the whole every conversation with the captain, every time those two were just like interacting. God, it's so good, man. Every time they were on screen, just this was like the thing about season 2 as well, is that when the dialogue is good, it's like, no, I actually could just watch a whole show of this, which is what season 2 is. Yeah.
Like I feel like on the whole of the structure, and we'll get into this when we get into the other subplots. The structuring of this show is terrible.
Okay.
I think the structuring and the pacing of this show is absolutely abysmal.
I really thought it would, after season 2, I was like, okay, they've kind of, not to interrupt you, but for like, you know, like I thought, okay, well, season 1 and season 2 were set up, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, the pacing is extremely fucking weird, but like they're setting things up. We're gearing toward like having all of these characters and establishing this thing, and now it's gonna be all of these characters dealing with like a problem, like Carmilla or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm wrong. I'm stupid.
But like the character writing and the dialogue being exchanged is like supreme, right?
Oh, it's some of the best. Yeah.
I guess like overall on a whole, it feels like how do I put this? It feels like they were structuring the plot in chronological order, and at no point did they go back and edit anything when they had a new idea.
That makes sense. Yeah, that actually kind of tracks.
There's this weird sort of improvisational like style to how events play out.
It really does just kind of feel like they're just making the show as it's being written.
Yeah, but it feels okay. Someone pointed out, like, someone like made a joke during the conversation in season 2 where it's like, where the vampires were all kind of standing around and talking about like their weaknesses. Like,
how it sounds like a D&D?
Yeah, and how it sounds like a
conversation.
Season 3 feels exactly like a D&D campaign where the players are really, really good at being in character, but the DM's plot has gone off the rails and he's trying really hard to get it back on track.
Yes, that's totally it. Season 3 is what happens when you split the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, season 3 is exactly what happens when you split the party of your D&D game. Suddenly, you've got like 8 different storylines going on, and none of them ever seem to come back together.
And they don't feel very good because like the DM has been like completely divided amongst them, and he can't spend any time like making them make sense. So he just kind of has to like improvise like crazy and kind of end subplots before they get too complicated.
Yeah, because he's just desperately trying to find a way to get everybody back together. And
he's really, really good at keeping track of one, which is Isaac's, but like everything else just kind of feels like scattered and out of place.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like Isaac's is so good. He goes through like a lot of character development. He goes to new locations. He has the conversation with Fly's Eyes is like the highlight of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it was just like what a great like monologue and like look into like the structure of like the world itself.
Right.
You know, that whole thing where he's like, oh, you were a philosopher. Surely philosophizing, you know, like being a philosopher and talking about God isn't a sin. And he's like, well, I ratted out my friends, too.
Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, no, oh my god. And, like, I still just go back to, like, everything with the captain. Like, the whole, like, all of the scenes with the captain talking about how, like, hey, you could better humanity.
Yeah.
Just having that whole philosophy challenged in such an interesting way is astonishingly good.
It's so, like, even before he meets the captain, it's that perfect scene of he goes into a shop and he has a good conversation with the shopkeep. And he's given, like, the first gift without any sort of, like, payment required in his life. Like, just a pure act of genuine human selflessness.
Right.
And then it's immediately destroyed.
And that is really, like, it goes back to this whole idea again of, like, Warren Ellis does not like people. He just understands.
Warren Ellis loves humanity. He hates people.
He loves people talking to each other, and he loves getting into the nitty-gritty of, like, their psychology, but, like, human structure he just loathes, and, you know, it really just comes across, like, everybody in season 3 is just, like, everybody you meet that you think is, like, kind of a cool person is ultimately just the judge, who isn't, like, cool, but is, like, interesting. And then, Sumi and Taka, it's like, oh, this is a good thing! Alucard isn't gonna go insane! Oh, no! Oh, no! So I guess part of it is just this idea that, like, season 3 is also kind of about how, like, victory doesn't always feel good. Like, you can win and still lose. I don't know, man. It's just, yeah.
It's just, like, I just love that, like, it keeps happening to Isaac.
I know.
He's shown...
You're all so fucking rude.
God, that line is so good.
It's so good. You're all so fucking rude. It's like, yeah, maybe. It's so good, man.
I just like, I think it's especially great because Isaac is never betrayed by the people that he meets.
Right.
It's the rest of humanity that shows, like, that ugliness to him, you know?
Yeah, and I guess that kind of, like, keeps reinforcing this idea of his that, like, you know, there are people you can meet and they can be good, but, like, the structure as a whole is so completely rotten that, like, he's always having his worldview reinforced, even when he does meet people who are good and who do good things for him. It's like, yeah, but the structure as a whole, so he still kind of comes out of this maybe believing in what Dracula believed, that, you know, we should all probably just die. Yeah. You just kind of wonder, like, how he's, like, where is he going? I mean, we know where he's going physically in season 4. He's gonna go murk the shit out of Hector, I assume. But, like, what does he want at the end of season 4? Yeah. Other than revenge. Like, what? And that's, like, the question that's hanging over everybody's head.
Like, and then what for Isaac?
Yeah, and then what? That's what the ship captain asks him. Like, okay, so you get your man, and then what? Yeah. Then like, what are you gonna do with yourself afterwards?
It's so, like, I don't know, like, all these, like these little character bits are so good and strong, and they make you think, and like, Isaac's introspective, like, entire arc just feels, like, really, really solid.
Yes.
And then
it's just, like, and then everything else is so, like, listless, I guess.
Disjointed, and there's a really big point when we talk about Hector's story that like really made me think about this, but, like, even Isaac isn't, like, immune to it. Right. Because he does get a really dumb fight with a filler villain in his last big moment, who doesn't talk.
Who doesn't speak, and who, like... Okay, let's talk about this real fast. Boy, Netflix, you could have given them more money than 3. Like more than $3 for your incredibly popular animated series. Because that whole episode is good, yeah. Like, it's pretty good, just because of, like, the boldness of it. It's a completely silent episode until the last, like, 3 minutes or something, right?
It's also the only time that a Castlevania character fights a Castlevania boss in the Castlevania show.
In a castle.
We actually get Legion in our show.
We get Legion in our show, and there's a castle.
Still haven't gotten Death. Still haven't gotten, like, you know, Frankenstein or...
We're never gonna get those. Warren Ellis is not gonna do those. Seriously, you are at maybe Death, but for sure not Frankenstein. No way. I don't know, though. I mean, maybe with the whole, like, you know, Hector being able to bring dead guys back, maybe they'll just throw fucking Frankenstein in there and he just won't look like Frankenstein. He'll still have the bolts in his neck or something. I don't know. But yeah, we actually have like a Castlevania castle. And it's just against like a nobody villain who doesn't speak. Like, who is this guy? It just kind of gets thrown out in the last like minute.
They meet the other forger, right? Mm-hmm. And like she's like, you've put the people in this village out of their misery.
Yes.
And he does that, and then he doesn't turn his quest in.
The quest is still going?
Yeah, he doesn't go back to her and is like, I did it. Like, now it's time to resolve that plot point that you gave me. Yeah. No, okay, sure. I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong, it's a fucking cool boss fight, and the puppeteering is so gruesome. Yeah. Oh, there's that... Yeah. Like, there's that one bit where, like, you see, like, the amount of just, like, how completely out of control, he's completely in control of everything they do when someone's arm just falls off. Right, yeah. And they just keep going. They keep moving. The one thing I just found myself thinking, though, in that whole scene was, like, me just thinking in the back of my head, like, this is an incredibly populous medieval city. That's a lot of people. There's a decent number of people. And the town that they supposedly... bodies. The town they supposedly came from didn't seem that big, but maybe he might have, like, gotten other towns and stuff. Maybe. That was the only thing I could think, though. It was like, this is extremely cool, and I love, I hate the movie World War Z with, like, a passion, but I do love the idea of, like, bodies as, like, a liquid thing. Mm-hmm. And they use that, like, extremely well with all $3 they had to animate this episode. And, like, parts of it are cool. Like I said, I think it is interesting and bold to have your big sex and death episode not have any talking until, like, the very, very end. I was like, that's cool. I like that. But then, like, for, like, huge chunks of the episode, you're like, that needs a couple more frames, guys. That could look a little better. Two more frames. I'm not asking for a lot. It's not like you're wasting your budget on the earlier episodes because, again, it's a lot of talking. Everybody is just standing around and talking. Well, you know what? They did blow their budget on episode 6. Yeah. Like, that was their big shot. And it was extremely cool, don't get me wrong. It's so... insane. But, like, the fight, like, the big fight with Legion, like, it could have looked a little cleaner, yeah. And also, they could have, like, established this... The magician? I think he's literally just called the magician, right? He has no lines of dialogue. Not a single one in the entire sequence. And, like, Isaac doesn't know this guy. Like, he's not important or anything. He's a sub-boss. Like, he doesn't even get, like, pre-boss banter. He's just there so that Isaac has something to fight to get his transmission mirror. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. Yeah. Like, I don't know. You could have somehow mashed some plot lines together to give Isaac some stakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he wants his transmission mirror so he can go fuck up Hector, sure. But it doesn't, not even stakes, but it doesn't tie in with his whole thing where it's humanity as a whole is garbage and there's only a few good people. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a good resolution. Yeah, I guess to that little moral quandary for him. I mean, I guess if you're saying that, like, humanity is good, but as a whole, people are bad, I mean, I guess a giant mindless horde of human bodies trying to kill you is a pretty fucking apt metaphor. Yeah, that does work. That does sync up, but then it's like, why even have the magician? Yeah, I don't know. Why not just... Why? The magician could have been a spire, is the problem. Yeah, it could have just been like a magical device controlling people. It didn't have to have like this random character. And even then, that could have been more interesting.
I don't know, you have like the old woman have some line about how like people have totally given themselves over to this thing, it's like this concept that people suck because they're just willing to kind of go along with whatever they're told, so because like that's the big crux of why everything happened the way it did, is that a bunch of people went along with what they told, and they burned Dracula's wife to death, right? And it was a very bad idea, and somebody probably should have questioned it at some step. So you could have, it could have been as simple as that, to actually get the metaphor out there, to be like, these are all people who willfully, handed themselves over to this magician. Cool, there you go. That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
But, it's just, as it stands, it's just like, who is this guy? Why do I care about Isaac does this cool stab thing, and he lifts the dude's body up, and it's like, this feels like a big triumphant moment, but I'm like, who is this guy?
He does the thing where the magician tries to control him, but he uses his knife to break the charm.
I love that moment in Kill la Kill.
And it looked really, really cool, but it's also like, but what did it mean? Why did it play out like that, and why didn't the magician say a single word?
Why doesn't he have a single line? Maybe some establishing thing to be like, he knows who Isaac is? Like, it's so weird to me that this guy was just so ready for Isaac, and it's like, you don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Like...
he didn't even say, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. He doesn't even ask a question or be like, I know who you are, and be like, you're that guy that Dracula thought was the bee's knees. No, nothing. Just a silent dude who Isaac just murks the hell out of, and that's it.
Then it's over.
Because Isaac's got to fight something in the big sex and death episode.
Yeah.
All four characters have got to, or all four plot arcs have got to converge in this, like, crazy episode. At
least thematically converge, because again, no one talks to anyone.
Nobody has a conversation with anybody. Somebody please go check on Adrian. He's having a hard time. You guys seriously couldn't have taken him with you? Really? Oh God, I know you want to go on your honeymoon, but come on. Before we get to that, Hector is still the dumbest man on earth. I'm sorry.
All right, so are we done with? Are you have anything else for Isaac though?
Isaac, cool.
Yeah, Isaac is the main character of Castlevania Season 3. Like, he's the protagonist that actually gets things moving. Everyone else just kind of putzes around.
Everybody else stands around. That's the thing. Isaac actually goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else stays in one place, and Isaac's actually like, no, I'm going to get up and go somewhere. And it's like, this is cool.
The thing that really annoyed me, a little bit, and this was kind of mentioned in Trevor and Sypha's story.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know what Warren Ellis has against Grant.
Where is he?
He gets mentioned.
Yes.
They're like, remember that weird land pirate we fought? And it's like, hey, we have this whole thing where Isaac has to get on a boat. And he has to go to a different place on a boat. I wonder if Castlevania 3 has any sort of, like, pirate-themed character that could be in this slot.
Nope.
No,
just a random cat. I mean, and the captain is cool.
Captain's a really, really fucking cool dude. Don't get me wrong. He's
cool.
Baller.
Like,
dude is like, I don't even remember my name anymore. And it's like, you've been on some adventures.
You've been up to some shit, my man, and I respect that. Yeah. But also, you couldn't just have, like, Grant in your crew.
Yeah.
He couldn't just be, like, hanging out.
Yeah.
Come on.
So... And so that's like the only other thing I had for Isaac, but it's also like, speaking of characters that get no respect, Hector's a protagonist.
Hector is the dumbest man alive. I'm sorry.
Hector in the games is like a fucking really, really cool badass dude.
No.
And
Warren Ellis has no respect for Hector whatsoever.
Oh my, I wrote in my notes, I just wrote, simpin' ain't easy.
It's true. Like, so I didn't know a lot about season 3 going into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that they were doing like a Stockholm Syndrome thing with Hector. I knew about that. And I was like, okay, so like this Lenore bitch is going to be like, you know, real sweet. And I thought it would be more subtle, is what I'm saying. I thought it would be more subtle that she was going to try and fuck him over. But she might as well be wearing a sign that says, I'm going to fuck you over, idiot.
The thing is, it's so blatant that it almost wraps around and becomes a twist that she's manipulating him.
Because you think, surely to God, something else is going to come of this. He isn't really going to fall for this, right?
Again.
No, he is. Again. Again. Hector, I'm begging you, please, for the love of God, stop thinking with your wiener.
It's embarrassing for Hector.
Buddy! And it's like, I do want to feel bad for him, because Hector goes through some shit, right?
He really does.
But he's just so stupid.
He's
just so stupid.
And the annoying thing about it, he's really, really stupid, but so are the girls.
The girls.
Let's be real. These 4 vampire queens are dumb as hell because
they're not. There's not a lot of.
So
we're officially out of the stage of feminism where we're like, we need more female CEOs, and like the vampire queens are exactly that.
So this is what I was talking about when I'm like, this is when I realized the plot like kind of like falls apart.
Right.
Is that the whole thing is like Carmilla drags Hector on, you know, across miles of terrain.
Right.
And she's like, we need him to make demons for us.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, well, we need corpses for those. And she's like, don't worry, I've got a plan. And then, so the whole thing is they're like, all right, well, Carmilla, how are you going to get the corpses for Hector? And we got to make sure Hector's on our side. And then, like, 2 episodes before the end, they're just like, why don't we just hire some mercenaries?
Why don't we just hire some fucking And it's like, it is like I swear to God, I think you're right with your theory that they were just making the show as it was being written. Because, like, the whole mercenaries thing takes, like, 3 lines. It's Striga realizing, like, oh, my girlfriend is really smart. And it's like, but is she really, though?
The dialogue where they say, why don't we just hire some mercenaries, feels like that happened in the writer room. And the writers couldn't come up with a reason why they can't just hire mercenaries.
Part of me wonders if it was like a voice actor. Whoever was playing, what's the other one's name? It's Carmilla, Striga, Lenore, and...
Oh God, I don't remember
I've
now.
totally blanked out on her name! Hold on. I hate Googling things in the middle of the fucking... of the pod, but I'm also, if I don't remember this, Morana.
Yes.
I knew it was, I was gonna say like Morgana, but no, that's the cat in Persona 5. Completely different.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Morana is so smart, and I'm like almost wondering, like, was Morana's voice actor herself just like, why don't they just hire some mercenaries? You know? Like, is she really that smart? Really, Striga? I mean, I know she's hot, but... And I know you're like a big dumb buff lesbian, and I respect that for you. I really do. I respect that game, but I feel like even you, the big dumb buff lesbian, could have figured this out. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. God.
And that's why it's even worse that Hector just completely falls for all their bullshit.
How does he
not, like... I get it. You're in prison.
Buddy.
You're looking for any sort of like oasis or life raft you can cling on to.
Sure.
But fucking come on.
Lenore? You're gonna cling to Lenore? Look, I mean, she's hot, make no mistake. Lenore's character design is so, like, visually pleasing to me. Like, I just like seeing her on screen, because she's just so, I don't know, just the way they draw, I'm just like, I love you.
It is, yeah, it's like aesthetic.
So maybe I'm a simp too. Maybe I'm a simp too.
Oh,
Who
but
knows?
you wouldn't fall for it.
I wouldn't fall for it. I'd be like, you're pretty, but that's about all. You're stupid too,
but,
you know?
Like, I also know that you are very clearly trying to manipulate me into doing what you want.
Right, yeah.
And And then, like, on top of all of that, like, she's, like, trying to, like, Stockholm Syndrome him and, like, trying to be the, quote, nice one to him.
Right.
You know? And then she's like, no, I built a magic ring that just makes him obey us anyway. Because, you know, they need Hector to be loyal to them because the creatures he makes are loyal to him.
Right.
So it's like, well, how do we convince Hector to be on our side? Oh, I made a ring that just lets us do that.
But I think, in her defense, and in the show's defense, I think he has to agree to it. Like, that was the whole point of the sex scene, was for him to, like, say, like, yes, I am loyal to you, as she put the ring on him. You know what I mean? Like, he very specifically says that line as she's putting the ring on him. So I think that's part of the magic, is that he has to, like, swear his loyalty to her for it to work.
Okay, that would track, yeah.
So, like, that's the whole point of the Stockholm Syndrome plot. So, like, that kind of makes sense. But, like, also, buddy, you are so dumb. How did you make it this far? That's what I want to know about Hector. How did you live this long?
I had, like, one of the darkest thoughts I ever had watching this. And it's an idea, and it's another reason why Hector's dumb. And I almost feel bad saying this, and I don't condone ever doing this action ever in real life, ever.
Ben, what the fuck are you about to say to me?
Hector, the best way Hector could get out of his situation is to go, hey, Lenore, watch this. And then just slit his wrist open.
Okay, that isn't too dark, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, like, it really is. It's fucked up, but if you don't want to be owned by a lady, then
all you have to do is be like, oh, you guys need me? Well, I might kill myself. Then what?
Yeah, and then, because, like, the point of the ring, because it's fresher on my memory, is that if he tries to run away, it'll just kill him instantly, right? So, like, they need him for an army. So fucking run away.
Yeah, do that.
Do that, you know? Like,
see where that gets you.
Yeah. Or you could just, but I guess it's that he just, you know, he does actually want to keep surviving.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, he doesn't even have to, like, do it to die. He can just threaten it. Right. And be like, oh, give me a better life. Like, or else They do mention that he's getting, like, a nice house. Like, they are going to put him up and let him live comfortably. So, you know, I guess, but still, like... buddy, that's, like...
Simping ain't easy.
He has this way to hold the cards, and he doesn't take it because he's an idiot. Because
he is dumb. I guess Hector's just dumb. Maybe that's the whole point of his character arc.
That's the other thing. Besides one attempt to put Lenore in a chokehold, he never, ever even thinks about finding some way out.
Yeah. Hector's just dumb, dude.
I'm honestly super excited for Isaac to encounter Hector and just be like, never mind.
You know what? That would be giving you what you want.
There's nothing here for me to kill.
Frankly, the way this is going to play out is that, like, if anything, Isaac's going to get there, and Carmilla is going to be like, I too hate people and would like to see them dead. And he'll be like, okay. That sounds cool. You know, like, I don't know, buddy.
What if in season 4, like, Isaac joins the 4 of them and they just throw Hector out?
They just kick him out. They just throw him to the simp shack.
It's right next to Vincent's cuck shed.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Hector. Buddy, I'm sorry.
Oh my, he's so dumb. Everyone in Hector's part is so stupid.
It's just
so fucking dumb.
It's incredible that Carmilla, like, I guess she could pull it off. Like, even though she is the dumbest vampire alive, like, she could pull it off now because she does have somebody to make an undead army for her.
But the thing is, their whole plan of, like, we're gonna cordon off this area and we're gonna make human farms. Isn't that the idea in season 2 that all the vampires were like, that's dumb?
No, because I feel like that was the plan, and then Dracula wasn't making any effort to do that. Because, like, Dracula's whole plan was to kill all the humans, and then that would kill all the vampires, right? Because Dracula's just done.
Dracula's plan was to take the biggest ball and go home.
He just wanted to kill literally everybody. And it's like, frankly, I almost respect it because it is so just, like, pure in its hate. It's not stupid. It's just extremely methodical. And so, like, I think the thing is that he told the other vampires he was going to do that. He was like, yeah, we'll set up human farms. Don't worry. You guys will be okay. And then he just never did it. Mm-hmm. And I guess Carmilla heard that and was like, actually, hey, that's a pretty good idea. And so now she's aiming toward that.
Okay, so I guess then, like, in that case, I think the funny thing is that they try to play it up like it's a very big deal as a follow-up to Dracula's I'm just gonna raise everything plan.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the stakes aren't quite as high as Dracula's literal decision to suicide the entire world.
It's fucking Doofenshmirtz take over the tri-state area.
Oh my god, but it is because she basically just wants to expand Styria's borders so that she can just take over the tri-state area. Oh my god.
We're going to get this 200 square mile acre of land and we're going to raise some humans on it.
Oh my god.
We need this idiot to make zombies for us. Why don't we just hire some guys? Oh.
See, that just makes me think now, though, like, Isaac shows up to Castle Dumb Bitch, and he's wearing his hood, but you can still see his face, and Carmilla's like, who are you? Even though you can still see his face, and then she pulls his hood down so you can see his bald head, and she's like, Perry the Platypus!
Isaac the Necromancer!
Yeah, that's totally it. You just hang a sign over the door that does say Castle Dumb Bitch, by the way. Just a beautifulully hand-painted wooden sign. Lenore does it.
Lenore, well, and by Lenore does it, you mean she sits in a lawn chair while Hector paints it.
While Hector makes it, yeah, and then throws rocks at him when the letters aren't bubbly enough. Yeah, it's a great plan. I should feel worse, like I should, because, like, again, Hector really does go through it,
But it's,
like...
part of it is his own damn fault for not even trying.
Part of it is his own damn fault, for sure. That's the problem, is that it's like, you are so stupid that you got yourself here. Like, if you hadn't betrayed Dracula, if you hadn't fallen for fucking Carmilla's charms, which are non-existent, you fall for fucking Carmilla's plans, and then immediately get screwed by it, and then you just do it all over again. It's like, buddy, if you had just stuck with the plan, then Isaac wouldn't be coming to kill you, and you wouldn't be in the simp shed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, you could still be friends with Isaac, the coolest guy in the world.
The hero.
The hero. Isaac, the man who presumably wants to kill everybody, is in fact the hero, which is a very Warren Ellis thing to say. Yeah, man.
I just like the sheer audacity to fall for it this quickly and this hard.
Twice in a row. And then it's only been a month.
There's like the fucking like. The biggest thing about it is the part where she fucking puts an actual dog collar on him.
Yeah, and he just goes with it. He's like, you know what?
She literally takes him for walkies.
She calls them walkies. There's a compilation on YouTube of her calling him good boy. So, like, I don't know. Fucking maybe he's into it. Like, I respect that, sure. But, like, come on, bro. Don't be surprised when it horribly backfires on you,
Yeah, he has the audacity to be caught off guard. Like, I can't believe you tricked me.
I tricked you, idiot.
And then she's like, I didn't even trick you at all. I was pretty upfront with what I was doing.
She was incredibly honest the entire time, actually. He's
like,
just so stupid.
It's like a fucking
He's
like
just so stupid.
It's like a fucking like Jason is chasing you with a machete and you're like, oh my god, he's tricking me so hard.
You're getting macheted in half and you're like, you tricked me. You
like,
lied to me.
I can't believe this deceit.
I can't believe you're macheteing me to death.
He's so crafty.
Oh, Lenore, you're so smart. Jeez. God. Oh, Hector, buddy. I don't know if you're going to make it out of this one alive, my mans. I think season 4 is going to go poorly for you. Probably.
I would love it if just, like, Hector manages to, like, stumble to the end credits. Fucking the castle gets destroyed and collapses on him. The last post-credit scene is him, like, digging his way out. Just
a hand just shoots out of the rubble. And he still wants to go simp for some new vampire bitch. Yeah. Like, God. It's just horrible. Ugh. Alright.
I
think that's all I got about Hector, other than, again, the dumbest man alive.
So I think next we should move on to Alucard, because I have something a mean thing to say about both Alucard and Hector's stories.
Oh, no. Alright, let's do it.
They could have been, like, an episode each, and then it could have been done. Like, speaking of, like, bad pacing, like, both Hector and Alucard's entire stories could have just been an episode each, instead of, like, being interspliced between Isaac and Trevor and Sypha's.
Yeah. Alucard, baby.
Because
Honey Bear.
Nothing happens in Alucard's story except for the very end.
It's like we were setting up. I feel like we just didn't get enough with Taka and Sumi either to, like, make this betrayal thing feel more raw. I mean, like, you get a few nice moments with them. But, like, I don't know. At the same time,
it doesn't, like, every fucking scene with Alucard and the two of them is like, hey, I'm gonna train you to hunt vampires. Can you show us your cool lab? No. Does the castle work? No.
No.
Oh, dang. I'm mad that the castle is broken.
The castle, like, you know, the problem is that, like, Alucard could not have, I mean, like, he's being honest. Yeah. He couldn't be more honest about it. He's like, no, the castle doesn't work. I'm not lying. And I guess, like, again, you know, it's like this whole idea that both of Alucard and the twins are, like, operating off of their own fucked up brains, you know? Like, they've both had, like, some fucking problems. And so it's making, like, he's having a hard time trusting them, and clearly they don't trust him. And it's like they're undoing, you know, that makes sense, but just like, I don't know.
Everything happens so abruptly.
I'm just begging you, Warren Ellis, stop beating up my baby. But I love Adrian.
It feels so weird because, like, it's hard to keep track of how much time is passing in each story.
Right.
Like, Trevor and Sypha's is like a few days.
Yeah.
And Isaac's is over a longer period of time because he has to do a lot of traveling.
Yes, because he does stuff.
And Hector's is also a few days?
I think it could be longer, though, because, like, you know, Lenore's breaking him down slowly, I assume. Yeah. I don't know. Hector is so pathetic that maybe not. Maybe it did only take a couple days.
But it doesn't feel like that because, again, they don't go anywhere. And there's no real, like, indication of how long is passing. And same with Trevor's story, is that how long were they there?
Yeah.
Like, if it was, like, a week and Taka's like, I gotta kill this guy because he won't give us all of his secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think you might be jumping the gun, bud.
Maybe slow down a little, homie. I don't know. It's...
Maybe just accept the fact that the castle, which is at like a 35-degree angle, doesn't function.
Maybe the castle doesn't work, because the castle is nearly an inverted castle. You know that thing Castlevania does? Just...
Like, you notice how, like, a lot of the windows are broken and, like, shelves are falling over and stuff?
Like, furniture is still kind of, like, not fixed.
Maybe the mechanics that make the castle move are broken, like Alucard has been pretty clear about.
Like, I don't know, you would think Alucard just seems like a kind of like a fun guy. I don't think he wants to live in like a half-skewed house, you know? Maybe take him up on his word when he says that the castle doesn't move. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
What I wonder is, are we supposed to like partially sympathize with Taka and Sumi because like Alucard is holding back, or are they supposed to be like completely irrational?
Yeah, I don't know. They're related to the Chinese, Japanese. His name is Cho, so I assume that's Chinese. I don't know. Sorry. Vampire that got murked in season 2.
Yeah, the one that just got fucking like... Okay, so what I really did love about that whole thing is that... Okay, so is the fact that, like, it was just, like, a vampire with a slightly unique design compared to the others. Yes. And she just gets murked. And then, like, they move on. But she was actually, like, this leader of, like, this whole thing, you know?
Right, yeah.
And I think that's really cool because that's what they do in No More Heroes 2. So in No More Heroes 1, you can do, like, quick assassin jobs, and it's just kill these henchmen in this, you know, abandoned, plant or whatever.
Right.
In the first mission, you kill, you just kill, like, it's not even, like, a named guy, it's just a generic goon. The final villain of No More Heroes 2 is the son of that guy.
Yes! You're right. That's always good. You love callbacks like that.
Yeah, and so it's just like, that's what's cool. It's like, this lady that Alucard probably doesn't even remember killing. There were a lot of vampires that day.
A lot of vampires got super got that night. It was chaos.
I can't even remember if Alucard was the one who kills her. It might have been Trevor.
Wasn't that the one that Sypha sliced in half with the water?
That might have been, yeah. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah.
See, I don't even remember.
She does get sliced in half, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was Sypha, because she does the cool water trick thing. So, back when the show had an animation budget.
So, like, Taka and Sumi aren't even barking up the wrong tree, because they're going after Alucard for training.
Yeah, they're bothering Alucard instead of, I mean, like, they don't know. Yeah, they don't know, but still, they're dumb. A lot of characters in this show are dumb.
It just feels like the transition from, I will teach you the ways of the vampire hunter, to, haha, we're sword fighting and having fun times and Alucard's gonna make us lunch. Right. To, we're gonna have sex with you in a very creepy and uncomfortable threesome and then murder you.
Yeah, threesome with your sister.
I don't know if they were supposed to be related or not, because they're not, like, we have nothing to go on because they're not, like, game characters.
Yeah.
So...
I just assumed they were, because, I mean, like... I don't know.
I don't know either.
Act like siblings, and like they very explicitly just look. They have like the same eyebrow thing going on. Like they both have a little cut in their eyebrow. I don't know.
It was
like fuck. It's still just weird.
It was.
I mean, like, you know, I'm glad. For like a few minutes, I was glad Alucard was getting dicked down because he deserves it. You know, like good for you, my boy.
But then. Boy, that scene really did get, like, really, really uncomfortable really, really quickly.
You can't watch Castlevania with your family, folks.
Nope.
Don't watch it with your mom. Yeah, that whole episode is extremely horny, and again, not a lot of budget to go with it.
Like, I will say one thing, the Hector and Lenore scene was, like, that one was good.
It was good.
This one is, I'm like,
There's a lot. It's explicit. I guess that's the point.
Alucard is looking mighty uncomfortable right now.
Yeah. You just kind of like walked in and were like, now we will make love to you.
You know, and again, like it's weird. Like they had this kind of weird, like camaraderie, jovial, like let's go get lunch together thing earlier on. And now it's like, we're going to bone down. And I'm like...
We're going to bone down and then try to lash you to the bed and stab you. Pulling on your collar a little.
Yeah.
Like, jeez. Yeah. Stop hurting my boy. That's the only part. I just kept like repeating that over and over again the whole time I'm watching it. I'm like, please just give Adrian Tepish a break, man.
He has a fucking breakdown in his childhood bedroom, okay? Come on.
Come on. He's still, like, his dad is still extremely dead, and he's clearly having problems with that. And, like, are you for real setting my boy Adrian up to be the villain in season 4?
Right?
Are you really gonna don't do that to me, Warren. I will come to your house.
That was fucking, like, the roughest, I think.
It's rough.
Was Alucard being like, all right, I guess we're doing it this way then.
Yeah, dead old dad is what he calls him. And I'm just like,
can we go back to him talking to little Trevor and Sypha dolls?
Doing an incredible impersonation of Sypha's accent, which is definitely my favorite part. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I'm so much smarter than all of you. And it's just like amazing. Good for you.
I would have loved if we had just gotten like, I know he said like it's a lot of talking. I needed way more of Alucard putzing around the castle.
I needed another scene of him consulting the Trevor and Sypha dolls.
Right.
Like, having a scene where he's like, should I trust these two? And then he does the voices. Like, give me more. I don't know. Or how about you just fucking have Trevor and Sypha come back to their friend who's having a hard time. And, you know, be like, you're talking to dolls of us. And he's like, I'm very lonely. And then you can all go off on adventures together. And nothing bad can happen.
I mean, they're going to go back and they're just going to be like these skeletons mounted in front of the door. And they're going to be like, well...
Oh dear, we probably shouldn't have gone on a honeymoon, huh? Like, immediately after our friend's dad died. Maybe that was a bad idea, now that we think about it.
Hey, Al, you doing all right, bud?
Hey, buddy. How's the castle? Okay. Corpses, that's cool.
You've redecorated.
Oh, dear. Please, just give Alucard a break. Like... Come on.
I wrote.
Don't make him a villain, please.
I wrote in my notes. I got to use one of my favorite quotes I've heard ever, which is a lesson is learned, but the damage is irreversible.
Yeah,
and that's Alucard's story.
Oh no! Don't say that. I'm just so sad for him. Even if, like, you're right, like, you know, that could have been that whole plot arc probably could have been handled better. It's just, man.
I just...
Pick on somebody else for once.
I just feel like the overall pacing of it shatters...
could have been handled.
Like, it shatters any sort of weight the conclusion might have had.
Right.
Because, like, it doesn't feel like that dramatic conclusion was necessarily earned. Because, again, we have no time frame for how long it took to get to that state.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I get you.
Like, if it was a week or a few days, then the twins are insane people.
The twins are literal crazy people who thought they could get to use the cool magic shit in the first week of coming to this man's house. I don't know.
Fucking, like, demanding that he train them and being like, show us... You know, it's that fucking, like, apprentice thing, like, I want to know everything.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't feel earned.
Right. Because we just haven't had enough time to get to know these characters at all.
They didn't.
Yeah, even if they had been, like, a little established, if they had been, like, shown at some point in season 2, maybe, that could have made it feel, like, we would have at least had them in the back of our heads.
Yeah.
You know? To be like, oh, okay, well, these two, who are they? Oh, hey, they're back, you know? And we get more story about them. Like, that would have at least kind of helped solidify them as people and not just, like, people who are going to now betray Alucard for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop bullying my boy.
Yeah, give him a break. Let him do something really cool and fun in season 4, please.
God, do not make Alucard the bad guy. I'm begging you. Like, let him go hang out with Trevor and Sypha. Fuck the castle. You know, you don't need to stay in your, like, horrific childhood home full of corpses and sadness. You could go on adventures. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
It'll be alright. Please. So yeah.
So
that's all I got.
So the last one is... Honestly, it's the one that feels the most like filler.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, it does feel a lot like filler. I guess it's leading toward the establishment that Dracula can be brought back, right?
Right, but like the events that happen aren't like, okay, so Trevor is being set, or Alucard is being set up to like be the villain or something, right?
Yes, right.
And Isaac and Hector are obviously going to converge in season 4.
Right, of course.
Where are Trevor and Sypha going to be in season 4?
Yeah, that's the weird thing, is that even at the end of season 3, it's like Trevor says, like, well, now you're living in my world because, you know, I'm used to losing and having things go wrong and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's cool. Where are you going now?
Yeah. Are you off to your next town to hopefully not fuck that one up?
You really fucked that one up. You saw all these weird markings around, like, town that represent sulfur, that shit that burns, and you don't go, like, maybe we should destroy these.
Yeah, you didn't, like, scrape them off. You didn't, like, do anything. You just left them.
You just putzed and hung out with Saint Germain, who is cool.
Saint Germain's a great character, but
he's the best part of that arc.
They're very bad at actually investigating a mystery.
Maybe that's why you should have fucking brought Alucard. It's God.
And I wonder if that's the point, is that there actually are just kind of bad at doing anything that isn't killing monsters.
Yeah, maybe that is it. Is that like the whole idea is that all they can do effectively is kill. Mm-hmm. Like they're not really like they're heroic, yeah, because they kill monsters, but it's not like they're not good at the other aspects of being a hero.
They're not skilled in the actual like anything else, you know?
Like the heroics and shit, and the, you know, it does feel like if Alucard had been with them, he would have been like, oh, we should probably destroy these, you know, like to have that other, because like Sypha is so in the midst of just like, I'm a hero and we're on adventures, we're having a great time and I'm partying with my new boyfriend, you know?
I will say, I do love that they're like, Trevor and Sypha are together.
Oh yeah, no, God, I fucking hate will they won't they in shows like this. No, they're just together. Fuck you.
And it's like it would be especially agonizing in Castlevania because like if you know anything about Castlevania, logically they have to end up together or there are no more Belmonts.
Yeah, you have to have Belmont. Yeah. Sorry, that's how this all works. So
if they were going to be like dancing around the idea of eating, it's like they have to. We know they have to.
We're not stupid. We know how this story goes. They, at some point down the line, make a baby. So just get on with it.
So, and not only are they together, they're really great together, and they have a lot of good chemistry.
That's the thing, is the whole, like, the crux that makes this story arc bearable is that they have good chemistry. Like, it is filler, yes, but Trevor and Sypha do actually have good chemistry, so it holds it together. It's plus Saint Germain.
The comparison, I noticed this comparison when it's Trevor and Sypha and they're talking to the judge and they're like, you know, she's trying to convince Trevor to like investigate and do the hero thing.
Oh yes.
And she's like, you do everything I say. You know, and then like you compare that to what fucking Hector is going through.
Who also does technically do everything his girlfriend says on pain of death, yes.
But in a way that's less like cute.
Yeah. It's not like fun, it's just horrifying. Yeah, no, I love the whole bit where she's like, or when he's like, I'm not looking at you. Because I know if I look at you, I'll agree to do this shit. And they're just doing this in front of the judge, who is probably just like, oh my god, get on with it, you bastards. Please, just agree to it already. Yeah, it's just, it does feel like, I get it. They are establishing that, yes, we can resurrect Dracula, who is just kind of hanging out in hell.
Which I do love. that fucking Saint Germain's reaction to seeing Dracula in hell is going, what the fuck? All this was for him?
All of this is for this one guy? You went through all of this trouble and killed all of these people just to bring back fucking Dracula, who literally just wants to hang out in hell with his wife. Leave him alone, please.
Why is Lisa in hell?
I guess because she boned a vampire, and that immediately gets your... Because, like, I guess God, in some degree, is just real in Castlevania, bro. And the rule, I assume, is that Dracula's as a species are a no-go zone, and if you bang one, you are automatically doomed.
Which, what I will say is they did give, like... Because, like, Castlevania Season 2 ends with you know... Dracula's, you know, I'm killing our boy, you know, and it's like, well, how the fuck are you gonna make Dracula a villain when he gets resurrected? And the answer is, you fucking took me away from my wife, you bastards.
Again, can people please just leave me alone to hang out with my wife? Dracula is the ultimate wife guy. Why would you get in between him and said wife? Come on, like, leave him alone. This is his idea of basically retirement. My man's retired to hell. Leave him alone, okay?
He's got a nice little shack somewhere.
There's a shack in hell that they just kind of hang out in. I guess, sure, there are worse places to be.
Yeah.
Probably, like Transylvania.
And I mean, like, if it's Dracula, like, no demon is gonna fuck with him.
Yeah, I dare you to fuck with Dracula and his wife in hell. I want to see how that goes for you, idiot, you know?
Dracula's like the equivalent of like the Doomslayer getting dropped in there.
Yeah, no, he's probably got great accommodations. I know it doesn't look good, but I'm sure they're doing just fine. Like, what's the devil gonna do? Nothing, it's Dracula. Like, just...
But...
The season, buddy, it was a weird season.
There were so many, like, really, really strong things about Trevor and Sypha's story that I really did love. I loved that the night creature that crashes into the church is so literally alien.
Yes. It actually does look like a Lovecraftian thing.
It falls from the sky, it lands in the church, and now people who go into the church, like, come out and their minds are just shattered.
Yeah.
And it's so good because it does feel a lot like fucking an alien invasion, you know?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Something getting into their, like, draining their brains kind of thing.
Just like a tentacle monster just shoving a tube into your brain to make you subservient to the tentacle alien demon. Yeah.
It was so good. You know, fucking lights coming through the stained glass, you know, the night it falls and all that.
It's just like, I just feel like I wish more, how do I even put this, Ben? That the stakes had felt a little bit more real. Like, this is just like you said, it's filler. It's a filler arc.
It's a town they go to, and the town is in trouble, and it has a problem with the monster, and they have to fight the monster. And Dracula shows up at the very end.
And it's like, oh my god, Dracula still could be a thing, you know? Like, that's it.
But it doesn't, it has no connection to Carmilla's gang. It has no connection to Isaac.
It even weirdly doesn't even have any connection to fucking, like, Alucard.
Like, even...
That's his dad. That's his mom and dad.
Even Alucard's story had a slight connection to the previous events because it was about, hey, this vampire that used to work for Dracula, how do we kill more vampires like her?
Right, yeah.
But this one is just like, they're just in a town.
They're just... They lost the thread. Warren Ellis is trying to right the ship of this D&D game, I guess.
The players got stuck in this town, and they can't...
Oh god, that's exactly what it is.
They're not able to leave it yet, because, like, there's still stuff the players want to investigate, but, like...
Yes.
He wasn't ready for this to happen.
Right.
Like, he had,
they decided... They split the party, and then these guys stayed in this little town for way too long.
And he needed to have something for them to do, you know, otherwise the players would get bored and stop showing up.
Right.
So he It's like, a weird priest with crazy eyes shows up.
With giant eyes for some reason. They are extremely crazy eyes, it's true.
I just love that, like, everyone latched on immediately to, like, Prior Sala's eyes are weird.
They're huge. What is going on? Like, man, are you okay? Do you have, like, high blood pressure and your eyes are about to bulge out of your head? Please stop eating so much salt.
They're baby-like.
They're like baby eyes. I want to know, like, was there a purpose to that in the character design? We're just not privy to it?
I think that...
Is it just to make him look crazy?
I think it's just, like, to make him look weird and otherworldly and, like...
It worked.
I mean, yeah, because he has that thing where he's like, I'm not crazy. Like, Saint Germain, like, tries to, like... Oh, no, I wasn't sneaking around. I was looking for the toilet. And he's like, I'm not crazy.
Saint Germain. Saint Germain is such a great character in this fucking thing.
Oh, my...
He's such a highlight every time he's on screen because he's just so, like, he's vibing. If anybody has ever vibed, it's Saint Germain.
When the judge was fucking like, I saw you talking to Trevor and Sypha all day. What was that about? And he's like, I wanted to speak to someone who knew what toilet paper was.
I'm a famous world traveler who knows what toilet paper is. What the fuck is toilet paper? It's Chinese. Good morning, Judge. It's such a good exchange.
And he's like, in the bit later in the church, or he's like, I had to find the bathroom, and like, Prior Sala just looks over at the pile of poop in the corner of the church.
Yeah, we go outside. God. It really is. In that way, it really is. It just continues this vibe of just like a D&D campaign that has utterly gone off the rails.
It's the continuation of the fact that the first line of dialogue after fucking Lisa gets burned at the stake and Dracula destroys a town is the first lines of dialogue after that are go fucking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all the same through line. Yeah. And sometimes that can be your thing. Sometimes it's not. For the most, I mean, like, it's weird. I didn't hate... We've been ragging on season 3 a lot, but I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was very... Like I said, like it's very unique, and it's an approach to the series that I never would have expected it would take.
Right.
And like I said, there's a lot of really, really good interpersonal dialogue. These characters are super compelling and interesting, and I you know, being able to follow all of them, I'm so curious to where they go. It's just that the pacing... and the actual structure just feels so weird.
Yes, it's so disjointed, and it just feels very unplanned.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel. It feels like they were in the writing room, and they're like, "Well, how do the characters get out of this situation?" And it's like, well, I guess they don't, because the town burns down.
And I mean, like, that's one way to go about it. Sure.
It is, but it's not very satisfying.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we are still ultimately, with pretty much every story that got told in season 3, the thing is, like, are people worth it? Mm-hmm. Like, is doing this worth it? 'Cause, like, people are bad and you lose a lot and it sucks and it's painful. Like, that kind of feels like the whole point of season, because like everybody kind of comes to that same, like, Isaac fights the metaphor because he fights a bunch of human bodies just falling over each other to tear him apart, you know? And then, like, Hector is the human who is bad. I mean, that might be a reach, but, like, Hector is stupid.
He's a bad human, so, I mean...
He's a bad human, so who knows? But I guess in that way it also drives home this idea that like, fuck! Dracula's right, is what I'm getting at. Is that, like, maybe humans... Or at least that's what's getting said in fucking Castlevania, man.
Yeah.
Is that maybe Dracula had a point. People suck. Vampires suck. Get it? Thank you. And so, like, fuck. Maybe it's like, fuck, you know, we should bring back Dracula. Maybe those guys in the Priory had the right idea. Bring him back. It's just be like, go have fun.
There's just, like, a few things that just, like... The other thing that really bothers me about Trevor and Sypha's story is Why did the judge have to be a weird child murderer?
I do not know.
I don't understand why that needed to be a plot point and why he couldn't just be a cool guy who is kind of a dick and gets murked.
The metaphor? People are bad and you always lose?
It's like, well, we needed to find some way to kill Prior Sala. He can't get away with this. Well, What if the judge leads him into a trap? Well, why does the judge have a trap? Well,
the judge is a weird child murderer or something.
I guess so they wouldn't feel that bad about, like, him dying too, but I don't know. I don't understand.
Sometimes
it just feels like this weird little extra bit of, like, grimdark that doesn't fit, you know?
I mean, but like, that is also kind of like what Castlevania is like an incredibly edgy interpretation of Castlevania, the video game series. I mean, like, you know, as much as I don't mind edgy. Some people don't like edgy. I like edgy. But, like, you gotta remember that, like, even fucking season 1 and 2 had, like, a lot of just grimdark shit going on, you know?
And I mean, yeah, obviously, but, like,
sure,
the village burned down. Trevor and Sypha failed to save the entire town.
Yeah.
That's already bad enough. Why does the judge have to be a child murderer?
Good question. There you go. I don't know. Just 'cause people bad. I guess.
I
still really like.
Okay, so we didn't even talk about one of the best scenes in the entire show, which was when Saint Germain goes to the pilot dimension.
Oh God!
The Netflix show pilot dimension.
That's where all the budget went, like you said. The last episode and that episode, that's it.
Like, fucking talk about, like, an absolutely insane thing to put in your Castlevania show.
To have, like, mechs and space shit?
And, like, here's a shot of what is clearly a heroic adventuring party charging into the castle.
Yeah.
Like...
yeah!
These characters where you can just kind of barely make out their designs, and it's like, we're seeing the last episode of a show.
And you just threw it in there as, like, a 2-second, like, visual thing. Like, that's insane to me! It's
the fucking... You see the planet, like, you see, like, I think it's like a jungle at first, and then, or no, it's the Sahara, and then the fucking mech walker just, like, walks towards Saint Germain.
Yes.
And then there's one where, like, the moon is broken into pieces,
and there's, like, a spaceship rising up over him. Like, I'm so into it because it is just, like, sometimes when given the chance, when, like, you say, like, this is what is it called? The Infinite Corridor.
Mm-hmm.
This thing lets you look into all possible, like, timelines and dimensions and all this stuff. And when you present those possible timelines and dimensions, you get, like, really kind of, like, mundane stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the go-to is to show World War II because you think you're so smart.
Right.
Full Metal Alchemist movie. I'm looking at you. And it's like, no, we didn't do, like, mundane stuff. We didn't show people on their phones.
Yeah.
There's fucking mech walkers, and the moon is broken, and here's another adventuring party. Like...
Okay, I'll be honest.
Yes.
I was expecting to see a pan of Redgrave City. Because the studio's gonna work, supposedly still working on Devil May Cry.
Don't talk to me about that right now!
I was like...
Don't even talk to me about the fact that we still don't have anything about Ari Aster's fucking Devil May Cry series.
And he's talking about, like, the bootleg, the bootleg cinematic universe,
Right,
and I'm
where
like,
it's not, like, really a cinematic universe, but they are held together by, like...
And I'm like...
Concepts.
Wouldn't this fucking be, like, the best way to show off some of the licenses you picked up?
Oh, God.
Like,
how could you say that to me? How could you say that to me?
You wouldn't show Dante. You wouldn't show Trish or Lady or anything like that.
Show, like, Malay Island or something like that.
You would show... You would have to be completely vague enough that, like, only a small percentage of the actual fans would know what it is.
Yeah, like psychopaths like you and me would instantly, like, do the Leonardo DiCaprio, like, pointing at the screen thing. If you showed, like, the fucking cliff off or whatever. Like, just show a big fucking cliff off rising out of a London-ass city. And we would both be like, ooh, unga bunga, I recognize, and I clap, Like, God.
Like,
where the fuck is the Devil May Cry animated series?
I do wonder, like... when I watch it, I'm like, are these things that, like, we should recognize,
Right.
Like the mech design...
Think so?
The mech design is so distinct.
Yes.
The adventuring party is so, like, specific.
I would have to go back and look again. Like,
I'm like...
To really see if...
I don't think they are...
other Castlevanias?
I don't think they are because it's, like... The internet would have said, like, oh my god, look at these characters from insert NES game here.
Right, that's true.
But, like, when I first watched it, I'm like, is there like 10 people that know what this is?
Yeah.
Like, is there, like, someone watching this and just, like, screaming at the top of their lungs?
Because they've been recognized. Like, I don't know. Just...
It was probably one of the best, probably my top sequence of the series is that whole thing.
I think Bloody Tears, like the whole Bloody Tears thing in season 2 is still my favorite because it's raw. But then second is that because it is so just like endlessly different and the visual design is so cool and I'm glad at least somebody got a happy ending. Apparently Saint Germain got to go be with his lady, so good for him.
Yeah. In the library dimension.
In the library dimension, the Belmont library dimension.
Which also was a really fucking cool sequence. Like that
extremely cool
awesome.
Design. Yeah.
I love the fucking like Inception geometry, like, geography unfolding thing.
Yeah, the infinite library idea is extremely cool. So, like, good for Saint Germain. At least somebody got to be happy at the end of this, because fucking nobody else... Isaac is.
Yeah, Isaac's doing pretty good.
Good for Isaac, We probably shouldn't be rooting for Isaac, but at this point, I'm like, well, at least he knows what he's doing, unlike the rest of you idiots.
Yeah.
Like... Oh.
I really do hope that, like, Sypha gets some of her, like, humanity back, because, boy, it did suck seeing her lose faith, because... Their whole thing in the beginning was great.
All of their dynamic is so much fun, and it's just like, no, don't be mean to like, again, stop being mean to all these characters I like.
Yeah.
Be nicer to Adrian, please.
Also, I do like that Sypha's now, like, deliberately not wearing sleeves to show off her cool scars.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Clearly. She has a very cool scar now. Good for her. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's just like it was a weird season.
It felt so much like filler, and that's the weird part about it is that you don't get a lot of time with these characters. It's only 10 episodes, season 1 was 4, season 2 is 8, this one's 10. Like, you don't really get a lot of hours
to really, especially because some of those episodes, like, I didn't notice, and I wasn't really paying attention to the other ones, but I did notice that episode 9 is 16 minutes long. It's not a full 22, like, but then episode 10 is 28 minutes, so did they just, I guess if it's like...
When it's Netflix and it's designed to, like, you watch them all in a row.
Be binged. It's just smarter to just kind of trim it to where it makes more sense instead. But still, I mean, like, that's... What is that? That's only... So wait, how many episodes? Season 1 is 3 episodes?
Season 1 is 4.
4 episodes. And season 2 is 8 episodes. That's 12. 22 episodes. Like, that's a full season anime.
Yeah.
Only just now, you know? Like, we haven't had a lot of time to get to know these characters in the same way.
I think if we didn't get the confirmation of season 4, this would have sucked.
Yeah, it would have been bad to have to wait, because it's like, oh, this is how you're going to end it? You're going to end it on this kind of a note? Like,
the idea of not knowing if this story is going to continue would have made season 3 feel a lot worse.
Right, yeah, if we were just kind of... But I mean, like, Castlevania is popular. Like, not to, you know... like, fortunately, you don't have to worry too much, because Castlevania is popular, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's a weird season. Just, it feels kind of like... So, like, season 2 is also kind of weird, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because
it is just a lot of people sitting in a basement. A lot of people just sitting around talking. But it kind of works because it pops off in a really cool way at the very end, and you get a lot of, like, fun character dynamics between, like, the War Council when it's the bad guys. And for the good guys, you get, like, bonding moments between Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels like with season 3, they just kind of tried to do that again. But without, like, having all the charming stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of, like, you have some of that charm, but there isn't quite as much. So you have to focus more so on how disjointed it feels. My dog is drinking water directly behind me. Don't mind that. But yeah, so, like, I feel like that's the idea, is that they tried to do season 2, not, like, again, but the same vibe as season 2, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just felt weird instead, felt messy. But, I mean, like, season 4 seems to be like they're leading toward season 4, kind of converging on all these points. I don't know how... I mean, Hector and Isaac are clearly converging on each other. But I don't know what's going to happen with fucking Alucard. I mean, I guess he's just going to stay in his castle, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Maybe Trevor and Sypha will come home and be like, oh god, the honeymoon was a bad idea.
The only thing I can think of is that Trevor and Sypha need to go back, because otherwise they have no direction.
Yeah, they're still just kind of, like, out and putzing around and feeling sorry for themselves, you know? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm gonna watch season 4.
Oh, hell yeah. But it's just gonna be, you know, it could be great. It could be bad.
This is a show that's so weird. But, like, by all accounts, I probably shouldn't like it as much as I do.
It doesn't seem like... Don't take this the wrong way. But it doesn't seem like your kind of thing as much as it's my kind of thing, because, like, I don't mind, like...
No, you're totally right, though. Like, this I should not be as invested as I am, because, like, if these characters were not nearly as compelling, I would have abandoned this at season 2.
Sure, because it is pretty grim. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, there's a lot of, like, fucked up.
It's that thing where it's like, oh, well, clearly things aren't going to get better for these characters, and I don't care enough to continue hoping it'll get better. I'm done.
Yeah, of course.
But,
like, I get that totally.
But I really, really like this cast a lot.
I really like this guy. I really like the 3 and even fucking Hector, the dumbest man in the world. I still like him. He's dumb, but I still like him. I don't know, just because he is so stupid that he is kind of like a dog. He's just kind of like a dumb puppy who just wants somebody to approve of him. So even Hector, who is stupid, I approve of. And like the dumb idiot lesbian queen vampires. I like them too. I like it's the power of, like, the character writing in this show is extremely strong, you know? Like, even if it feels like kind of like what I'm talking about right now, if it feels like the thread has been slightly lost, it's okay, because they're still likable, you know?
I enjoy watching all these characters flounder and try to pretend they're not.
It's relatable in that way. Because I, too, do that all the time. It's actually... Wait, what?
Watching Carmilla being like, no, I got this. I'm the smart one.
No. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, me too, girl. Don't worry. With like a big exaggerated wink. You know? Like, I know too. Don't worry. Yeah. For me, and actually it is funny though, because you were like saying like, you know, I guess the aesthetics and whatnot, or the tone is not your thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like normally it's not like your thing. I was like watching parts of this show and just going like, God damn it, this show hits all of my favorite notes, like aesthetic wise. I was just, even when it was kind of losing me in parts, I'm like, just the visual design of this show is so aggressively my thing.
It's everything is fine. It's just that it's just the structure. The structure absolutely. Just isn't there, and that's the only thing that's really holding this show back. Is that it's a lot of then they'll go over here.
Yeah, they'll do this,
and then
who knows? We're making it up as we go. Don't worry about it. And, there's no plan.
This guy will be like, "Why are you doing that?" And they'll be like, "Oh no, we got caught."
Yeah. And then a big monster pops out, and they gotta fight it. And we're not gonna give the animators enough money to make it look good until the last episode. Last episode looks pretty good, but like, again, could you really spare a cup of tweens, good sir? Just a bunch of animators rattling a cup. Spare a cup of tweens,
just a few more frames to insert in.
Please, sir, may I have some frames? Yeah, I'm still excited for season 4 though. Fuck. I mean, they might be able to pull it off. Who knows? Maybe it's like reverse Devil May Cry, where even numbered seasons are the good ones. You know how like odd numbered Devil May Cries are the good ones?
Yeah.
It's like that.
It is interesting because like the thing I hate about the Devil May Cry anime is that it's just Dante putzes around.
Right.
And in a way I really like that Castlevania is Trevor and Sypha putz around.
They just need Alucard with them, please.
And I guess it's just a matter of like, again, the character writing is so sharp in this, and there's really endearing characters that it's still keeping me going. Mm-hmm. It's just that I'm like, I can easily recognize, probably more than like any other series that I've watched. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh yeah, this pacing is completely off.
You're looking at your watch all the time, like, anytime now, guys. Yeah. When is it gonna pop off? And this is all gonna be cohesive.
Can someone say Dracula's name to remind me that this is in fact the Castlevania show?
Maybe that's why Dracula shows up at the very end. Just to remind you that you are in fact watching a Castlevania. There are not a lot of castles, so you gotta be reminded somehow.
It is that thing where it's like, as much as I do like Warren Ellis, maybe they should have gotten someone who has played a Castlevania to maybe take a look at the script.
Yeah, that's why, like, the best combination to go back to, say, the Resident Evil remakes and the Final Fantasy VII remake is to be like, here are some people who don't know anything about it, here are some people who created it, and then we've also got some people on staff who were playing it as small children, and now they're making it. And so now everybody can come together and collaborate and make it feel right without having to be too overly influenced by, like, fanboy desire, Maybe, just maybe, we should do that for 4.
Just a thought. If you are gonna...
Call me. I have never played a Castlevania in my life, but call me anyways. Pay me.
So the thing is, I am torn. There's 2 things I want.
Sure.
Which is, one, as much as I love Trevor and Sypha, part of me is like, move on to Symphony of the Night.
Right.
Do Symphony of the Night for season 4.
Sure.
But I'm also like, no, these characters haven't gotten much of a conclusion. They don't have their resolution yet. Wrap them up, and then be like Symphony of the Night time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That tracks.
Here's what you do. Wrap up Trevor, Sypha, Isaac, and Hector in season 4. Alucard doesn't show up at all.
Oh, okay.
Season 5, Symphony of the Night.
Bold. Oh, I don't know though, because like I feel like part of their resolution is getting resolution with Alucard, because they did just kind of bail on their friend when he was having a hard time. Like, I just want them to, go off and say fuck the castle. Go send the castle to the Belmont Library dimension. Can we do that? Can we stick the castle in the space dimension for now? Isn't that kind of what the Game Boy Advance games are about?
I don't know.
That the castle is on the moon in the Game Boy Advance games. Remember?
I think that's
Soma?
I think that's the one that everyone wants. Though is the GBA ones where it's set in modern times.
Soma
Cruz.
I would honestly, yeah, like myself as a human being, I would like to see Symphony of the Night because again, Alucard, good. But if we had to have another option, then yeah, do the whole fucking crazy everything going on in those games because that would be rad. Put the castle on the moon and Soma Cruz is you know who, and have that whole crazy twist play out, and yeah, that would be awesome. Please. Okay.
I don't know, I'm excited, and it was really good, but it was really good in spirit, very bad technically.
I enjoyed myself, even though I think there are a lot of problems.
Even though Warren Ellis like stammered a lot and kind of made shit up as he went, it was still fun shit he was making up.
I was having a good time the whole time. It was only in retrospect.
Yeah, he was just very clearly making it up.
Sure, and I've done that with school projects too, Mr. Ellis. It's okay. But yeah, maybe next time, just plan it. Little.
Season 4, just make it a little bit more cohesive. That's all we're saying.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm excited for season 4. Where's my Devil May Cry anime?
Yeah. It's been going on, what, like 2 years now? We haven't...
like 3 years. It's been at least 2 to 3 years. We haven't seen anything. Where is it? Are you waiting for Castlevania to wrap up? I'm gonna be waiting forever then. I can't wait forever. I already waited for Devil May Cry 5. Come on.
Just a trailer or screenshot or something.
A picture of what Rebellion looks like, and I would be excited. Well, actually Rebellion is in season 3. It's on a wall somewhere.
Is it?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I'll have to go back and check that out.
That can be the title card, because Rebellion is on a wall is somewhere on a wall in season 3. I saw a screenshot of that.
Oh, I'll have to track that down. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they didn't forget, I guess. Where is it? All right. Are we good?
I think so. You got anything else?
No. I keep thinking this is a reach you're not gonna get, but I keep thinking that Alucard is voice acted by the guy who did Kain in the Legacy of Kain games. He's not, but if you ever go listen to like those two voice clips back to back, you're really gonna hear it. I wish it was, because Kain is also a vampire, and I thought that would be cool. So I guess what I'm saying is season 4, have Raziel and Kane's voice actors. That's Simon, and it's incredible that I still remember this, but I was in love with the Legacy of Kain games because I've been the same person my entire life, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Castlevania is my aesthetic. There's a reason for that. It's because of the Legacy of Kain games and Devil May Cry. Simon Templeton and Michael Bell play Kain and Raziel, respectively. Please, it would be super dope for them to get some kind of role in Castlevania playing vampires. Yeah. Just bring it full circle. Mm-hmm. Give me hope that maybe Legacy of Kain isn't dead forever. It's dead forever. It's dead forever.
Make that the next bootleg cinematic universe show you get.
Oh my god, that would be so raw! Oh, that's such a good idea. All right, I know it. Change.org petition is starting after we get off of this call. I think the rights to that still belong to Eidos and Crystal Dynamic, because they're the ones who made Crystal Dynamic made Defiance, and I think that means that they are bizarrely. That means that the Legacy of Kain, I think, belongs to Square Enix now.
I mean, if it was Eidos, then probably, yeah.
Yeah. Weird. It's a game licensing thing. Totally unrelated to this conversation. Let's wrap this up. We're starting to lose the thread.
We're starting to lose the plot, just like Warren Ellis did.
Hey! Good job.
All right, then. In that case, that'll do it for us. Thank you, Visitor, if you use some background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast. And if you want to listen to Sara meander around in tabletop games, you can listen to her other podcast.
Actually, our tabletop games, I would like to say, are pretty directed. We do a good job of keeping the thread. So, hey, if you want to hear a tabletop game that does have some direction, come listen to me and all of my other cool queer friends on Big Gay Nerds, a live play RPG podcast where we try out lots of different systems and have a lot of fun. We are playing Blades in the Dark. It got raw. It continues to be raw. Please come listen to Blades in the Dark. It owns so hard. The new episode that goes up as of today, it is Monday the 11th. So on the 13th, I think, is when the next episode of Big Gay Nerds will go up. It kicks ass. Please go listen to it. That block rules. Our Monster Hearts block rules. You can find us at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us. What do you got? Because there's a lot to pick from, I feel like.
God, there's so many things to pick from. Like, okay, here's a weird one. But, like, you know, like the Cthulhu monster that Sypha fights?
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck that thing. Because I really wanted Sypha and Trevor to, like, team up against the big Nightwalker monster thing. And it didn't happen.
No.
Like, the whole point of, like, the reason that, like, the Bloody Tears sequence in season 2 is so good is because there's all kinds of bonkers teamwork stuff going on.
Yeah, team attacks.
And team attacks are cool. I don't know if you know this, but team attacks are always cool. And there weren't any team attacks against the big Nightwalker monster, and I was really looking forward to that. So I just kept on expecting her to, like, pop in and save Trevor at different points. And I guess she was just really busy with that Cthulhu monster thing. So fuck that thing.
Yeah.
I know that's a weird one, but, like, fuck that thing, and fuck whoever decided the animation budget should be, like, 2. Because it was rough in some parts. Extremely choppy. I don't know what happened. I hope season 4 is good, because season 4 could be the last one with the way things are going. Mm-hmm. We might get 12 whole episodes. Oh my god. So I hope they decide to give it a little bit more money. Netflix. Please. And also, where's my fucking Devil May Cry anime? Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.